discuss about quadratic functions. So a quadratic function is a nonlinear function in the form f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are all real numbers. So when we say real numbers, a, b, and c can be any number on a number line. And a should not be equal to 0. Why? Because if a is equal to 0, this term will become equal to 0, and this will no longer be a quadratic function but a linear function instead. And aside from using f of x, we can also use y. So we can also have y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. And these forms of a quadratic function is what we call the general form or the standard form of a quadratic function. So a quadratic function, if you notice, is involved by two variables, x and y, or x and the f of x. Alright? And a quadratic function has a graph which we call as a parabola. So a parabola may look like this, alright, or like this. Okay. So this parabola is a parabola that opens upward, and this parabola is a parabola that opens downward. So how can we know the opening of a parabola? How can we know if a parabola will open upward or downward? So we will know that by looking at a. If a is greater than 0, or if a is positive, it means that the graph of a parabola opens upward. And if a is less than 0 or negative, it means that the graph opens downward. Okay? So at the moment that we see the function itself, we can identify if the graph will open upward or downward. So again, if a is positive or greater than 0, the opening is upward. And if a is less than 0 or negative, the graph will open downward. Alright? Now, a parabola that opens upward has a lowest point. Alright? Let's say in this graph, this is the lowest point. And this point is what we call as the vertex, defined by the point hk, where h is the x-coordinate and k is the y-coordinate. Now in a graph that opens downward, the vertex is the highest point. Let's say this one. Alright? So this is the vertex here. Okay? Or this point is hk. Now, if we draw a vertical line that passes through the vertex, let's say here, let me draw a vertical line that passes through the vertex, and the same here. I'm sorry if my illustration of the graph is not that accurate. Okay, so the graph or the parabola will become symmetric, or that the graph of a quadratic function is symmetric to that point which is x equals h. Okay, and that is what we call the axis of symmetry, because on that point, or x equals h, the graph will be divided into two symmetrical parts if we're going to draw a vertical line that passes through it, or that passes through the vertex. So the axis of symmetry is the value of h in the vertex. Alright, so that will be all for today. So wait for my following videos more about quadratic functions. See you. Bye.